Welcome to User-Driven Installation with Configuration Manager 2012 and MDT. Today we're going to talk a little bit about Config Manager and the integration of the Microsoft Deployment Toolkit, and one of its really useful features, User-Driven Installation. My name's Adam Eaddy. I'm a Microsoft engineer with ITS Partners, and I specialize in Microsoft's System Center suite of products. I am certified in both Configuration Manager 2007 and Configuration Manager 2012. Today we're going to talk a little bit about Microsoft's Deployment Toolkit and some of the features that it extends into Configuration Manager. MDT focuses on the OSD functions of Configuration Manager and extends capabilities like light touch installation, zero touch installation, and what we're going to be focusing on today, user-driven installation. So what is UDI? UDI provides us with a front-end wizard-driven approach to selecting features, settings, or applications that we want to deploy immediately prior to an OS deployment. This allows us to populate things like the computer name, the domain, what hard drive we want to install, or what scripts or applications we might want to run on a specific device prior to the OS deployment. This would have been something we would have had to have written a custom HTA or application for in the past, or maybe a set of scripts, where now MDT's provided us this functionality right out of the box. This allows us to get a little more generic with our task sequences, very similar approach to that Microsoft took with images, where prior we used to have a monolithic image that met all of our to meet all of our specific needs. So every different department had to have their own image. Then Microsoft introduced WIMs that allowed us to get a little less granular by creating one gold master image and then having a specific task sequence to meet all of our special needs. And now we can get even a little more generic with our task sequences, and a little less granular with our task sequences, and be a little bit more flexible by allowing users or technicians to populate that data on the fly instead of having to have a task sequence with that information hard-coded in for every specific need. Again, it gives us a lot more flexibility in the deployment process and allows us to create fully customizable task sequences. Another really powerful feature of MDT is the UDI Wizard Designer. This tool is really great because it gives non-developers the ability to create custom UDI wizard pages, as well as the ability to customize the default built-in pages to meet specific needs. And we'll discuss this tool a little bit later, in a little bit more detail later on in the video. So let's go ahead and talk about some of the key points of MDT. MDT is not actually installed on the Configuration Manager server, but gets installed on an administrator's PC, someone who has the Configuration Manager counsel, and someone who's going to be managing OSD task sequences. It's not necessary that every administrator have MDT installed on their device, only those who are actually going to be managing the operating system deployment portion. There will be files and connections to the Configuration Manager server. There will be files uploaded, and when this happens, it takes place like a normal package creation and package deployment. Some of the prerequisites for setting up a UDI task sequence, and one of those are obviously an existing Configuration Manager environment. You're going to want to have a Windows image, a WIM, already imported into your Config Manager environment. If you haven't already done a capture of Windows 7 or Windows 8 to create a gold master image, you can use the default install.wim that comes with the Windows 7 or Windows 8 media just to play around or test. You're going to want an existing pixie environment or working boot media. And of course, last but not least, you're going to want to have MDT installed. And on that note, let's go ahead and jump over to our lab environment. So here is my Configuration Manager server. Here's the Microsoft Deployment Toolkit MSI. I'm going to go ahead and start the installation here. Accept the terms of the license agreement. We're going to install the documents and the tools and templates. I'm not going to join the customer program. And we're installing. The installation is fairly small and fairly quick. Once this completes, we're going to want to run another little installation that is going to allow for integration into Configuration Manager. On a side note, MDT can be installed standalone without Configuration Manager. MDT is a free tool from Microsoft. You could go out, install, and set up an environment to deploy Microsoft images. Alright, the install is done here, so we're going to go ahead and we're going to find the Configure Configuration Manager integration icon here, and we're going to go ahead and launch this. It's going to come up and prompt us to connect to our environment, so we're going to install the MDT extensions for Configuration Manager. We're going to install the MDT counsel extensions for Config Manager 2012, and we're going to add the MDT task sequence actions to Config Manager. It's already detected that we have Configuration Manager locally on this server, and that our site code is ITS. So we're going to go ahead and hit next. You can see the operation completed successfully. We'll navigate over here to Software Library, Operating Systems, Task Sequences, and we'll see we have Create an MDT Task Sequence, and we'll go ahead and do that. We'll create a client task sequence. We'll call it Windows 8 x64 UDI. We'll leave workgroup because we're going to have the option to select a domain. We'll change the Windows settings to ITS user and ITS labs. No product key because it's just demo. This task sequence will never be used to capture an image. We'll specify an existing boot image. We'll use the x64 boot image that was created when you install Configuration Manager. We'll create a new Microsoft Deployment Toolkit file package. These are going to be packages that contain all the necessary MDT files and scripts to perform all the functions we want it to do, like provide us with a UDI wizard. I went ahead and created these two folders already in my package share. So I'll go ahead and navigate to that. And this is the files package. We'll give it a name, Windows 8 files package. We'll select the image that I captured. Choose index 2. We're going to perform a user-driven installation. We'll specify the Config Manager client package. It was created during the installation of Configuration Manager. Same with the USMT package here. That's a new feature in SP1 as it automatically installs and creates a USMT package for us. We're going to create a new settings package. And we'll name this as well. No sysprep is required with Windows 8. It's copying all the contents from MDT over to the task sequence packages we just created. So now we need to go ahead and deploy this. We're going to select a collection that we want to make this available to. So what it's saying is any computers in these collections, make this task sequence available to it. I'm going to do all unknown computers because I'm picking a pixie machine that's never been in Configuration Manager before. We'll make it available to clients, media, boot media, CDs, USB drives, and pixie. We'll make the deployment available as of now. We'll leave these settings default. And the next thing we have to do is go to the packages that we created here, the Windows 8 UDI file packages and the settings packages. And we need to distribute these out to our distribution points. So we'll select our distribution point. And again with the Windows 8 we need to right click, distribute content, select our distribution point. This process will take a little while, so while we're doing that we'll go ahead and check out the Wizard Designer. UDI Wizard Designer. So we're actually going to go ahead and open a file that is in the package that we just created. So we're going to navigate to the same UNC share, and inside of this files package we'll see all the directories that it created. One of them scripts, and this contains the UDI wizard underscore config.xml file. We'll open that, and here is where we can configure our wizards. So you see there's a couple different stages here: stage groups, new computer, refresh, and replace. We're going to focus on just new computer for now. We can go ahead and preview what the wizard looks like by default, all the different options it gives you. So first things first, I'm going to get rid of the BitLocker. We're not going to do BitLocker here, nor are we going to do user state migration. So I'm going to get rid of select target. I'm also going to get rid of user device affinity. And the rest of these we're going to go ahead and keep. A couple of them we're going to edit. So first we'll go ahead and edit the welcome page by double clicking on it. And here, page screenshot, you can take a look, see what the page looks like. We're going to go ahead and just add ITS Labs here so we know it's ours. Select flow. The volumes page, there's nothing we're going to edit here. Oh, yes there is. The image selection box. We're doing Windows 8 by default. It's saying Windows 7 here. So we're just going to go ahead and change this to be Windows 8 Enterprise. We'll change this to Windows 8 Enterprise x64. Change our index to 2, and AMD 64 is the architecture. There we go. And that's literally what it's going to display right here. We're not going to do anything with the deployment readiness. New computer details. We're going to go ahead and edit some of the domain information here. So under domains and OUs, we'll go ahead and we'll add our domain. And then we'll go ahead and search domain for OUs. And we'll select Windows 8. And computers. This will give us the option to select either the Windows 8 or the computer's domain to add this computer to. And we'll also go ahead and pre-populate the user account that's going to join the domain. So by default we'll put in here CFG-MGR, the name of our domain, and we'll use my account. Under administrative password, we're going to go ahead and leave this one default. Actually, we're going to go ahead and delete this. And I'll show you why later. Language, we're going to go ahead and set the default time zone to Eastern, because that's where I'm at. Leave everything else. And next we'll take a look at the installed programs. And here we're going to want to make sure we're connected to our configuration manager domain. You'll want to validate the site. We'll go ahead and remove this sample application here. We'll add first a package, 64-bit. Click search, And we'll add 7-zip, the program associated to it. And we'll right click that again, and we'll add software. This time we'll add an application that I have created already. We'll search, select putty, and we'll finish, and now you see them both there and available. And last is just the summary, so we're not going to change anything there. And we'll go ahead and save this, close it. We're going to want to come back up here and update the distribution points because we just made changes to these packages. And we can take a look at that here under distribution status. Once that compliance is at 100, we'll be good. There we are. Okay, so we've just went through installing MDT, integrating it with Configuration Manager, creating UDI task sequence, as well as the packages that go along with it, distributing those packages, editing the wizard so that we can customize it a little bit for our needs, and now we get to go ahead and see the results of all the work. So I'm going to go ahead and hop over to another VM real quick. We'll boot up a machine via Pixie, and we'll see the wizard in action. Okay, we're back. We're booted up now. So we'll go ahead and hit next here. We'll choose the Windows 8 UDI task sequence that we created. Select next, and it'll resolve the dependencies. This portion takes a little bit, but not too long. Here it's actually going down and querying Config Manager for the toolkit package that we created. And then it's going to copy it over. And once that completes, it's going to go ahead and start the wizard. So I'm going to go ahead and pause this until that happens, and once the wizard pops up, I'll be right back. Okay, so here we are. We've been presented with our UDI wizard. See, we have the ITS Labs deployment wizard here. Got Windows 8 Enterprise image. C drive is our option for installation. We're going to go ahead and format and partition the disk. There are no applications to discover, but everything else passed the check, so we'll go ahead and hit next. We'll give the computer a new name. We'll select the domain to join, and we'll choose the Windows 8 OU to put this machine in. We'll provide a password here. Time zone's already set. We'll choose 7-zip and putty to install. We'll verify all of our settings here. And off it goes. This portion also takes about a half an hour, so I'm going to go ahead and pause it. I just wanted to unpause it for a moment to show you that during the actual deployment process, one of the features that MDT's brought in is the wallpapers here. So depending on what section of the task sequence it's in, it changes the wallpaper accordingly to let you know what step it's in, as well as gives you some information about the device down here at the bottom. Okay, back soon. And we're back, and it's complete. So once it completes, it gives us this nice little summary, deployment complete. You can see the deployment summary here. It took 35 minutes, the name of the device, the domain, processor and OS, memory and operating system, as well as the applications. Oh, looks like Putty had a little issue here. And we'll go ahead and start Windows. And it's going to go through the first time setup. And there we have it. We've successfully deployed Windows 8 with MDT and UDI. Thanks for watching.